Give it up, take another pill or another shot.
Overdose.
Yo, you already know what it is.
Overdose.
Cody King and Overdose.
Overdose.
That's us. Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. Start that line if you don't fucking care. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I do everything I want. I do everything I want. I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want.
I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. Winner, chicken dinner, I'm gonna eat you up. I'm in the club, I'm gonna have a party, I'm gonna live it up. Take another pill or another shot. Here's another death, I can never get enough. Need enough so we can last. Yeah, I'm a dirty ass, grimy line starter. That's how I keep my motivation. I'll do fine with just a chord. That way can be on top of my zone. I don't need to scatter my thoughts when I'm realizing lyrical miracles. Everything else to me don't matter. Watch your back. I'm a vicious ass rapper. Fuck the jelly before the peanut butter. Put it back in the cracker, Ritz slapper. I'm a drug blaster, always doing what I want. Try and stop me, motherfucker. Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. Start that line if you don't fucking care. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I do everything I want. I do everything I want. I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want.
I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I'ma fire it up like it's a fresh doobie. No, you silly flamers, not that chili D movie. My mind is kinda screwy. Drugs I'm doing, but I don't think that I'm really losing. All of the boozing and shooting has got my mind oozing. These lyrics for you floozies. Don't say you know me. I lost all my homies. They all overdose shit. You ain't in my full beat.
Where they at?
Just ate a gummy. Now everything is floating. Snort a couple addies. I must keep going. Gotta keep flowing. These drugs take funding. Always steady stunting. Yeah, we fucking running.
Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. Start that line if you don't fucking care. I don't. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I do everything I want. I do everything I want.
I can do anything I want. We can do anything we want. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. Yeah, we do. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
Cody King and Overdose, ain't no little pump bitch. Did a fat ringer while Cody's doing bumps trick. All day, hit the ground running. Couple beats and beers, you know we steady buzzing.
Yeah, I can do anything I want. 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 I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
Ride around the city with a sticky icky, no complaining, speeding, rushing, blowing trouble. I'm running all the time, I got that money on my mind, and I'm too hard to switch, I mix it with the dope. I see these bitches stacking, man, these wannabe rappers talking shit, gee, I better take a note. On the come up, steady rising, some up, y'all be steady hiding, I'm colliding, slipping, sliding to your heart. Low key, no piano, these rappers frontin' like they Lucky Luciano, but they don't know that I'm a goddamn godman. And when you see me, best believe I read in black, that's Batman. I turn y'all into ghosts, eat them like Pac-Man. No games for you out in trash cans, no shame. You want blow, that's no way. That cocaine got your nose red like strawberries from show dice. I get money and sit back and post, man. Chill deep and for real creep on your Dane. That heat leave you with no sleep and no brain. Then you awake with no sneaks and no chain. A black sneak getting shiggity. You know Ray, a fast life living, but still dealing with some slow days. What can I say? That's just what it is, dog. But I gotta get that money for my next of kin, dog. Ride around the city with a sticky icky, no complaining, speeding, rushing, blowing trouble. I'm running out of time, I got that money on my mind, and I'm too hot to switch and mix it with the dope. I see these bitches slacking, man, these wannabe rappers talking shit, she athletic, take a note. On the come, I'm steady rising, some of y'all be steady hiding, I'm colliding, slipping, sliding to your home.
Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Raven with young nigga with some hooligans. Raven with young nigga with some hooligans. This is for my haters. Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Raven with young nigga with some hooligans. Raven with young. This is for my haters, yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Raven the young nigga with some hooligans. Raven the young nigga with some hooligans. This is for my haters, yeah, we got that greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know that shit is medical. Raven the young with some hooligans.
Listen, boy, these rappers be tripping. Shit used to be cold, now cooking in the kitchen. Right slash sunny, listen, lane switching, steady dipping. I'm not here to play. I've been walking through hell, I'm not here to stay. You asking what I'm burning? Smoking Mumbai, and who are they? A bunch of haters with nothing so good to say. OC, MTL, mark this on your log. We bringing so much smoke, the streets catching all the fog. I ain't a pro, this my job. Fire behind the power, I'll devour like the mob. Everyone got a prop. Keep it humble in the meantime. You'll see why I got a gut and a stink like I'm blowing up beehives. I've been chilling in the shadows, playing for battle, a kid to travel and then skedaddle. Go meet the gavel, start giving me space. So if I get lucky with this money, then I'll be pulling that ace.
Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Raven the young nigga with some hooligans. Raven the young nigga with some hooligans. That is for my haters though. Yeah, we got that greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know that shit is medical. Raven the young with some hooligans. Yo, what's up, yeah, man, I be grinding, I'm on my grind, bro. And I be smoking on that killer, that be that hydro. But famous nigga, yeah, you know we getting high, yo. Smoking on that purple, cause I don't come with that lean, though. Boom. Oh my god, killing shit like my name is Zod. Superman flying high, like I'm in the fucking clouds. Red and black, got my back rolling, picture it up at the pack. And my O's and Cheerios. Yes, I'm silly, Cheerios. And you know we play the win. Hit the pot, I'm smoking in these bitches, they so extra shit. Suck a dick, you fucking bitch, I gotta hit the block at 6. I gotta chop, he need a fix. Phone it ain't called letter 6. Gliding through the paddock squirt. Pussy niggas talking shit. I ain't telling lies, ho. F-1, yeah, that's my click. No low key up next bit. Haters on that trolling shit. I can never get where it is, but we're taking another quick. This is for my haters. Yeah, we got the greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know we got that medical. Raven the young nigga with some hooligans. Raven the young nigga with some hooligans. And this for my haters though. Yeah, we got that greatest flow. Sipping on that medicine, you know that shit is medical. Raven the young with some hooligans. Raven the young with some hooligans.
This one's for the ravers. Don't care, still bear under blazers. Not pushed by the acres. In the middle of the street. We wildin', we don't mind sirens. Looking at them like they are just an audience. Shout out to all of my dudes who be hustling, bagging them dimes and pushing on the onion, whipping and turning the cushion to muffins, cookies and brownies, everything is.
We'll get back to that. Unless something more interesting is playing when I turn it back on, and then I'll leave it on that.
Where the snow is very intensely blowing around, near zero visibility, so use extra caution no matter where you're traveling. Be prepared for those changing weather conditions. We have ongoing problems northbound on the 400 approaching Highway 9. The 2 left lanes remain closed. This is for rollover cleanup. And the northbound 400, it's packed from approaching Aurora Road up to Highway 9. Just getting an update from the MTO that the northbound McCowan ramp to the westbound 401 has just reopened. However, we still have the westbound Dixon ramp to the westbound 401 401 closed, and that's because of a stalled vehicle. Delays westbound on the 401 from the 400 and the Express over to Dixon, and then it's busy approaching here Ontario on the collectors to west of Mavis. Eastbound on the 401, busy from Kipling to the 400 Express and collectors. Then be careful eastbound 401 as you're approaching Yonge and the Express. The left lane is partially blocked with a collision. MTO crews are on the scene there. Just a minor delay as you pass by. Toronto bound on the QEW, problems over the Burlington Skyway, they've cleared. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Call from your mobile now at Pound Tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
But yeah, the blowing and drifting snow will continue to be a factor through this afternoon. Winds gusting 30 to 60, 70 kilometers an hour. There is light snow now at Pearson. So we had the blowing and drifting snow in and around the Pearson area, and now some actual light snow. So what's happening is some of the squalls that are shaping up through the snow belt are making their way into the GTA. Just how intense they get, well, it's slightly unpredictable because with the squalls, it could be very quiet and all of a sudden it's whiteout conditions. So you certainly need to be driving according to the weather conditions today. And what I'm seeing on the radar is that, again, some of these squalls are starting to push in at Etobicoke, for instance, the Oakville area, that south end of Milton, all seeing some squall activity at this point. Really, the whole region is on and off affected through the next couple of hours and even through the overnight tonight. -4 right now at Pearson. It feels like -12. The guaranteed high today is -3.
680 News Time, 3:03.
Happening now, we are getting set for an update from Ontario health officials on the latest case of the coronavirus in the province. The man in the 60s is the 6th case of the virus in Ontario.
680's Irene Franklin joins us live with the details. Irene.
And Slajana, he is the husband of the province's 5th case. His wife had recently been to Iran, where it's believed she became infected and became ill when she was here. Health officials say it's the first instance in the province of human-to-human transmission. Iran now experiencing one of the worst outbreaks outside of China. Ontario Health Minister Christine Elliott says the province's health agencies are prepared.
They are doing incredible work to do everything that we can to contain this virus. And they are working in circumstances that are difficult, yet they are responding to it. In every hospital that I've been to and into my discussions with public health officials,
Meanwhile, Ontario health officials say the risk of contracting coronavirus in Canada remains low. An update from them is just moments away. We'll hear from Ontario's top doctor as well as Toronto's. Reporting live, Irene Franklin, 680 News.
Meanwhile, Hong Kong government officials there say a pet dog may have tested positive.
Hong Kong's agricultural department is reporting a pet dog has tested a week positive for COVID-19. The dog
what is a week positive? Well, he has
It's not been believed that pets can be infected with COVID-19.
Oh, so you just haven't been checking because you didn't bother.
Humans. The Hong Kong government says it's doing follow-up tests now to determine if the dog
really
does have
they might just fucking
coronavirus
shoot
or
every
that
dog on
test
the
was
fucking
somehow
island.
contaminated
Jesus.
and returned a false positive. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Wait. Don't even start with false
This
positives.
portion
You
of
have
the
false
news brought to you by
negatives.
Fremont
I don't care
Homes.
about false positives. I care about false
Happening now on
negatives.
Bay Street, trading remains halted on the TSX. Markets south of the border
that's
continue
the
a
reason I
downward
turned it back on.
spiral. 680's Carl Garnish joins us live with the latest. Carl.
So, Jana, yeah, it's more than the TSX2. It's actually all Canadian markets, according to the TMX group. They're saying the TSX, TSX Ventures, and Alpha Index are all currently on a halt right now due to a technical issue involving order entry. And this currently is not letting investors enter, modify, or cancel their orders. And before this, we actually saw the TSX drop by around 600 points. Right now, it's frozen around 1.9%, a drop of 324 points to 16,717. TMX is saying that it's going to be giving clients some time to obviously get their affairs in order once everything is reopened. But of course, the sell button is being pressed consistently here on Wall Street. We're looking at a potential 6-day slide for the Dow and S&P on coronavirus fears. All three U.S. benchmarks are lower by at least 2.3% as investors are definitely worried about what kind of impact we could see from this virus outbreak. We're now hearing from the World Health Organization that it could become a potential pandemic, and this echoes other health officials that said it's not a matter of if, but when. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
You're combining two stories here, and I don't like that.
680 News. Well, somebody screwed up. The province is blaming human error for a nuclear alert at the Pickering nuclear generating system that was sent out on Sunday, January 12th. Health. Here's 6 City's Mama Karenchi.
At 7:23 in the morning on Sunday, January 12th, many of us were woken up by the sound of our phones blaring with an emergency message about the Pickering nuclear plant that set off province-wide panic. A new report shows human error is why the first message was sent out. But why did it take over 100 minutes for the next message saying it was a mistake and everything is fine to go out? Solicitor General Sylvia Jones says there were too many people involved and not enough knew what to do next, so they made changes to the system.
I'm not happy about it, but at the end of the day, I think that we have a better system that we can give assurances to the people of Ontario that the system has been improved, and ultimately we don't want it to happen again.
At Queen's Park, I'm Moment Correction.
This is 6 City News. An arrest has been made in connection to last night's spike in overdoses at the city's largest safe injection site near Yonge Dundas Square. 6 City's Mark Douglas joins us live with that. Mark.
Postal Jen of the staff at that safe injection site found themselves in the center of an overdose crisis, and Toronto police say tainted fentanyl being sold near the site is to blame. 16 medical responses between 4 and 11 last night.
Yeah, if they'd done somewhere else, you would know
or
about it.
near the site called The Works, right beside Yonge Dundas Square. Police Superintendent Steve Watts from the Organized Crime Enforcement Unit says the fentanyl was so tainted.
Despite being administered in a lock zone, none of the individuals recovered in a way that was typical for a normal fentanyl overdose.
12 of those people had to be rushed to hospital by ambulance. Now, as for whether or not there's more of this tainted fentanyl on the streets of Toronto, Watts can only say they did arrest a 38-year-old man believed to have been selling that drug there beside The Works. However,
that's not to say that there's a certain batch that's, in the east or west part of the city at this point.
Live from City Hall, I'm Mark Douglas.
This is 680 News.
Organized crime enforcement unit.
Introducing Montfair by Fremont. A new mid-rise condominium residence coming soon to Brampton. Ideally located between Verdon Parkland and a spectacular new urban park.
Verdon.
Only minutes to the GO station. It's Irving's Mount Pleasant Village. Enjoy a convenient, connected lifestyle in a unique community. 1 and 2 bedroom suites starting from the mid-300s. Register at Fremont.com.
Mid-300s, so like 359.
City Streets, emergency crews on the scene of a collision in Wellesley, east of Yonge, and in Brampton, a collision westbound of Steeles west of the 410 at Rutherford is jamming things up from approaching Dixie. Now, 680 News, gas price update, and Enpro predicts the price will fall 3 cents at midnight to about $7.9. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together.
680 News Time, 3:10.
I found the one. Now I've got to find the ring.
Find it at Spence. They custom make every ring.
Everyone says that.
But not like Spence. Choose Earthmine.
They fucking. Oh, so how many dogs have been shipped back and forth on airplanes? Oh man, I couldn't make this shit up. I couldn't. This is my province. So Ottawa's the capital of Canada, but Toronto's the biggest shit in Ontario. That's the biggest province. We've got 15 million people. Because they're not counting everybody. Let's just put it that way. Oh, I couldn't make this shit up.
Taps into it, like even when I'm not trying, every time someone plays, I notice my actions, everything is connected to the song. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
That guy's just too high listening to music.
What are you talking to me? Look at the price on the jeans. I got no time for a tease. No time for a tease. Money is all that I breathe.
Like I got tricks on my sleeve, like a champion of a freak. Yeah, they just came out of the womb. Need to be speaking my truth. You never stepped in my shoes. Yeah, they're pulling up in a few. Niggas don't know what to do. I'm taking all of the loot. Whoa, I got my fear from the bay. We can be sleeping all day. I got their blood in my veins. Yeah, I got more gold on my chain. Nigga, I'm going insane. I'm taking all of the hate. I disappear like a ghost. I keep my ducks in a row. I keep that bitch on her toes. Whoa, when you step into my zone, give me a hit on my phone. I get it over the low. Yo, pull up on your block, roll up easier. Chillin' with the homies makes it easier. I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. Pull up on your block, roll up easier. Chillin' with the homies makes it easier. I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. Hey, I can sip on 40s, I can sip on this all night. All night. Yeah, yeah, what are you talking to me? Look at the price on the jeans. I got no time for a tease. No time for a tease. Money is all that I breathe. I got my tricks on my sleeve. I'm a champion of a freak. Yeah, they just came out of the womb. Need to be speaking my truth. You never stepped in my shoes. Yeah, I'm pulling up in a few. Niggas don't know what to do. I'm taking all of the loot. Whoa, I'm taking it.
Okay, so however long that track was, is how long it takes me to run. Remember that. I'll just go to that track next time.
They tryna throw a gun on me. It's only allegations. If it was mine, it was in case they tried to run on me. 3 to 5 is what they asking, but I won't bite the blade. Got a little daughter to raise, so I'ma fight the case. When I got that phone call, man, I could've talked the clock. You an angel, now white in that wooden box. That's a vision I could never remove. And if I go, it's cause I'm dancing with the devil in the heavenly mood. That's like mixing water with oil and crippling with their blood in that. Fuck this game shit. I just really want my brother back. I want that joy put back in his mother's heart. I want them bullets reversed that hit his brother's car. When I back the ratchet ahead and acting the ways. And we get friends, this ain't back in the days. 2017, I probably put the map to his face. Fuck these shows, I'm strapped up at the back of the stage. I'll shoot it up and then I'll join the crowd. On my hit shit, while I'm running, disassemble it on some sick shit. Take the springs out so we won't shoot in ballistics. And that's how you get away with charges on some stick shit. Yeah, I was raised with the savages. Grew up with them savages, never ran in my temperature kicks. I only slap back and stood tall. And this rap shit ain't the only way I put my hood on. Put my hood on with a black mask and a broken strap. Still bang 6 and dented whips when I hold it back. Why I roll with that in these streets? There ain't no holding back. Gotta move, needing the street, busting an older strap. I got 7 in that 5th, like my block number. 17 in the clip for my blockbusters. I ain't gotta wait for my team. This ain't no blockbuster. My young boy was 14 when he shot something. 15 in that Beretta he bust. I stay reppin'. I never changed my sweater in months. Even when I got knocked, nigga, I was reppin' the same. A week later, 10 bands just to get up the cage. Fake love, handshakes and hugs. There's 8 in the snub. That's 2 more than the 38 I gave to my cuz. And if you know me, you know that I've been real. Since a little you, I'm the block riding big wheels. But I'm a lot older on this block with the big steel. Peanut butter Glock left his brains on the windshield. Rock, paper, scissors, spin kick like a windmill. 4/5 clip hang lower than the windshield.
They say crime pays, so I'm outside with a 9's wave. Dark clouds follow me everywhere I go. I'm hearing voices talking to me while I'm sleeping at night. Eyes open, can't move, ain't a person in sight. Premonitions and visions, you can see the red in my eyes like the red light underneath the black 45. How you got it done, but you ain't walking with it. It's like a pit bull locked in a cage. Truth through flesh when it bark after it bite. Flee the scene low key, quiet storm playing on the getaway. Roll a blunt to calm my nerves. Adrenaline still rushing through my veins. It was either me or him, so for that I couldn't complain. Simple message for you little niggas, better stay out the way. Test my arms, then I bear arms. It's only right I do you niggas like they did King, cause of hell that the red light. You try to reach, then I'm leaving with the Mac. broad day shooters. You know about us. In the West End, everybody heard about us. On that Master P, all my niggas about it. When you flame lit, niggas coming through the alley. Yellow tape on your strip, hella shells on the floor. That's how my niggas do it when it's time for the war. That's how my niggas do it when it's time for the war, nigga.
So one time I'm in a car that somebody just bought, not a brand new car, but somebody just bought this car. And we get hit by the first trip out with all three of certain people in it. Gets hit by a dump truck, and the fucking fender bumper piece is hanging off and hitting the tire, and I had duct tape to fucking. I know what you're thinking. If I was really with it, I wouldn't have been in the car, right? But then who would have had the fucking...
My feet going rock climbing. All these niggas saying they rocked up, but none of them ain't got diamonds. Right in, not right.
If I hadn't been there.
Nah, they couldn't just start sick.
I should have left on that one.
Shout out to DJ Mike Soul. Nice.
I can't see what I'm fucking doing.
Yeah. I'm gonna let my truck bang.
The trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Did you like cocaine when I drop flames? Let the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Did you like cocaine when I drop flames? Then they keep them calling homemade. Got bars on me like my phone got paid. Drinking and driving, swerving all different ways. My mind stays stuck in the same ass maze. Maybe I should write this, or maybe I should write that. No, I don't like this, and no, I don't like that. I want you to feel the shit more than these hi-hats. I want it to the shit, I don't want to hear my rock whack. I don't need it from the bush, I be around the block. I ain't needing no push, sucking on the cock. All I need was a push to make it to the top. High off that cushion, the bottom of it. Dreams are far fetched, but I'ma go catch it. You ain't seen bars yet, this is just a message. I'm bringing out hard shit, I can blow like a weapon. Packing some more snake in case I put the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Did you like cocaine when I drop flames? Let the trunk bang like I bust things. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling.
Yeah, we rep for the street niggas, man. The voice of the streets, the black top. Yeah, the niggas that be on the soil, on the turf, out here, boy. You know what I mean? Hey, we got that military shit, nigga. Bullets by the ton. I like you know, let's run it.
I doubt you once in my left, fly in your outfit. Ain't no bringing back the bullet once I let the hammer hit. You never had damage, and I know what you dealing with. Trying to fuck fear me, but nigga, I ain't feeling it. It's more niggas fucking more than what you show. Cause you say just cause the niggas he know. Niggas he gang, listen up, check this out. Damn, what you talking about? I ain't giving a fuck about repercussions off flipping. I'm in a discussion like bitches, not just. I'll stop you in the middle of your sentence like a cop. You look like I'm blind. Yeah, with your brains and it death. It goes for you and anyone that you protect. Such as you washed up like shells on the shelf. Walking my gun on the shelf. Hit the slug. I'm a belly go. I'm on the goal. Look good. Shit is good. No leather. I got me one. This nigga with these rats. Yeah, son. Let's get that. You now damn niggas. Now you still. I'm a real rock. That's sweet to the death. So it's telling me from you. I ain't got to run. I got look me in my eyes, you can tell that I'm a rider. When it comes down to it, nigga, I'ma get all out the side you with these with the gun in these streets. Niggas play for keys where I'm from, I don't give a fuck. And I played around with that bitch shit. I'm fucking off your round, to get it out real quick. You got to ride, ready to ride all time. So when the boy rap off, you know it's rise on front line, nigga, and I'm out. It ain't you got to trust. Some niggas out here with a stitch and bitch up, homie, wait a minute. That shit ain't gangsta me, man. Tell them niggas that they pussy. That they nuts, they got grown ass men with they nuts on top. But gonna be a victim. That's what you are, got grown ass men with they nuts on top. But gonna be a victim, nigga. That's what you are. older girl, she's a little nigga. I got people that got these little bitch on. Yeah, so let's get it back. If I'm fucking, you know what they niggas, now we sell these. I'm a real hard next squeeze to the clip, so these boy need to kill. I ain't got to run, I got angry boxes. Who the fuck I'm on the dangerous, like who to play with this. And every slipping little nigga, I stay with this. Ever since the ex on me shot my cousin in the face, I'm riding around with a strap attached to my waist. You run the chamber, ain't no time for cocking. Been out knees up with his face on the goddamn bus backwards, take a dirt nap. Your man on the ground in blood, pissing crap. I don't feel no butterflies, I'm a team gutter time like a man. Guys, break the culture, mother die. Make them dust fly, and your family members cry. If you fucking gun demo, I keep it supply. Just wanna fucking slick if you ready to die. I still react quick, even though I'm hella high. I ain't let you do another felony order serve. I'm just doing the right thing for your sake, yeah, oh my. Back up to the older girl, she's a little nigga. I got people that got these little bitch on. Yeah, so let's get it back. If I'm fucking, you know what they niggas, now we sell these. I'm a real hard next squeeze to the clip, so these boy need to kill. I ain't got to run, I got angry boxes. Who the
Grand Slam of curling, no shit, eh?
Weather advisory now issued for the city of Toronto. It's
I'm
all
allowed
about
to
the
make
snow
fun of
squall activity, which is slightly
I have a
unpredictable.
family member
And
that's
when we do
crazy
get
about
into squall
curling.
activity here in the city, it can just create havoc. I
So
mean,
I'm sort of
whiteout
making fun
conditions
of
on
that,
the roads.
not
That's what
curling.
we've been seeing today already, just outside the GTA. The tail end of these snow squalls off of Lake Huron are going to affect us this evening and tonight, and also through the day on Friday. So you need to exercise extra caution. That is the warning by Environment Canada. So very different than system snow, where we can really isolate, timing and amounts. With squalls, it's again slightly unpredictable and can be even more treacherous. Overnight lows tonight near -7, through the day tomorrow, and even on Saturday is when we're talking about more of that squall activity. Really emphasize tomorrow, and then on Saturday it's just this chance of seeing some isolated flurries and squalls. But tomorrow we could see an additional 10 centimeters of snow. Your overnight low tonight here in the city is -7.
And we have an update now from Bay Street and the latest on the TSX trading halt from the Business Center. Carl.
James, we're done for the day. We're getting word from TMX Group that this technical halt is going to remain in effect for the remainder of the day, and that goes for the TSX, TSX Venture, and the Alpha Index. So we already saw this order kind of delay trading, but right
what do
now
you
the
mean
closing
Alpha
number we
Index?
have to
Hold on,
close it
what?
off is a drop of 1.9% at 324 points for the TSX to 16,717. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnash.
You've been diagnosed with
Alpha,
depression
it's
and
the
can't work.
index. It's
Your
the
insurer
opposite
advises that
index.
your
What are you
depression is
talking
not
about? The
serious
Alpha
and denies
index.
your claim. What are you going to do? Who can you call? Call me, Aaron Waxman, at 416-661-4878.
be
And
the
don't
Alpha
worry about upfront legal
versus the
fees
60s.
because
You
there are
folks
none.
don't fucking
At my law
explain
firm, my team of
yourselves.
lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Extreme weather season in Toronto is here. Count on your weather experts and the 680 News Extreme Weather Center for all the latest updates on the storm and how to stay safe.
Whatever season it's supposed to be, it's somewhere else here.
Weather updates. What you need to know, the 680
It
News
was warm
Extreme
and
Weather
sunny
Center
for 2
has you
days.
covered. Brought to you by Air Transat.
Now there's 80-kilometer-an-hour winds.
And Subaru.
It snows.
Exclusively on
Like a
680 News
sandstorm,
at
but it's
680news.com.
snow. Look at this falling. It's
Sports News
fucking
brought to you
everywhere.
by Fremont Homes. Business Next.
Some live to ski, others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont, a Blue Mountain chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Fremont.com.
You boost your morning with coffee. You boost your body with exercise. Now you can boost your savings with Meridian's high-interest savings account, boosted to 3% for 4 months. Visit a branch of meridiancu.ca to give your savings a boost. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
680 News Traffic Alert.
This is Carrie Prunskis from the 680 News Traffic Center. Southbound 400 approaching Highway 9. All lanes are blocked because of a jackknife tractor trailer. Motorists using the shoulder to get around it. The 680 Traffic Watch continues.
Is it unethical for me to take a pool on shit like this?
City Business Report, Carl. James, we're finding out that it's not a pause, but a period for the TSX today. We had trading halted due to a technical issue involving orders for investors. They couldn't modify and change them. TMX Group tweeting today that they were investigating the problem. They were going to try to put us in this pre-open state until further notice to allow traders to manage their orders, but they just tweeted that they're apologizing for the inconvenience on this, but the TSX, TSX Ventures, and the Alpha Index are going to remain closed for the rest of the trading day. So an early close for the TSX today, and this came right before we saw it dropping by about 600 points. So the frozen number that we have on our screen is now our closing number. TSX dropping by 1.9%, a loss of 324 points to 16,717. So now it's below the 17,000 mark, and we're already getting ready for it to hit the 18,000 mark just last week. But we do have the closing bell around the corner for Wall Street. Wall Street entering into correction territory today as coronavirus fears continue to hold firm here. All three U.S. benchmarks are down by more than 2.4%. The head of the World Health Organization saying that the virus outbreak has the potential to become a pandemic. As other health officials have said in the past, it's not a matter of if with this virus, but rather when. Could be a 6-day slide for the Dow and S&P. The Dow fallen by 790 points here. S&P lower by 74. And while the Nasdaq did snap a 5-day slide, it's now lower by 278 points today. Taking a look at Facebook and Microsoft, they both announced a change of plans for some events due to the coronavirus. Facebook is now canceling its annual F8 developer conference scheduled to take place in California this May. The stock is down by 1.9% to $193.33. While Microsoft says it's not going to be attending the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco next month due to the virus. And this came after the tech giant cut its third quarter sales forecast, citing the virus impact in China. Microsoft down by 4.4%, $162.55. A 3-day slide for gold losing 60 cents, finishing at 1,642. A 5-day slide for oil remaining at its lowest level in more than a year, down 3.4%, closing at 47.09 a barrel.
No matter what you thought you were doing right now,
and we're expecting prices at the pumps to fall another 3 cents in a Friday. Canadian dollar lower by 25/100ths of a cent, 74.75 cents US. A busy day at the Business Center. I'm Carl Garnash.
It's busy because ain't nothing happening. That makes a lot of sense, bro. All Canadian market.
Ciao, I'm Dominic Primucci. Next time you order, try our charcoal-infused pizza and enjoy a lighter and airier pizza experience. It may just become your new go-to favorite. Think Italian and taste the difference.
I can imagine something worse.
On February 29th, the Today Showstopper at TSC is the Dyson Supersonic Hair Dryer Bundle. With its 3-speed digital motor, 4 integrated temperature controls, and heat shield protection, plus accessories, you'll enjoy fast, comfortable styling that won't damage your hair. Whatever your type, whatever your style. Watch for the Dyson Supersonic Hair Dryer Bundle at a super price, only on February 29th, when it's the Today Showstopper. Shop tsc.ca. Today's shopping choice.
We have blowing snow around the GTA and -4 at Pearson. Feels like -13. 680 News Time, 3:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto.
Yeah, right there.
Here are Sledgeana Tominzik and James
Like
Monroe.
right in between the two weeks. That little
Thursday,
gap
the 27th
was
of February.
Here's this making news right now.
Traffic alert, southbound 400 approaching Highway 9. All lanes are blocked. A full traffic report is just seconds away.
Health officials provide an update on the latest COVID-19 case in Ontario, and they continue to stress the risk to people in this province is still low.
The first human to human transfer, we got them both sitting at home just self-isolating.
Was sent in human error, but the province is being pressured about why it took so long to send out a correction.
I don't know.
Maple Leafs and Panthers drop the puck at 7. Blue Jays don't win or lose today, and the Raptors could get a boost on Friday night. Sports at 45.
TSX is done trading early for the day due to a technical issue. While it's another sea of red for Wall Street on coronavirus fears, the Dow lower by 836. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 3:31.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Now here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. We have problems on the 400 in both directions, and both situations are approaching Highway 9. Southbound on the 400, approaching Highway 9, all lanes are blocked because of a jackknife tractor trailer. Traffic spotters say motorists are using the shoulder to get around this. So southbound 400, it's jammed up from Canal Road to approaching Highway 9. Then northbound on the 400, approaching Highway 9, the left lane is closed for repairs to the barrier. Northbound 400, barely moving from approaching Aurora Road and continues busy to north of Highway 9. Added delays as everybody slows to look at that southbound situation. Be very careful on routes, especially north of the city. We just had a call from a traffic spotter who says Trafalgar and Highway 25 north of the 401 extremely slippery, and the winds are so strong that cars are being forced into the ditch. So yikes, it is just a terrible drive. Westbound on the 401, well, in both directions on the 401, we have some emergency construction now. It's just west of Yonge and the Express, the left lane closed in each direction. So let's start with the eastbound 401. It's slow going across the city from Dixon to the 400 Express and Collectors, then delays from the Allen to Bayview and the Express, and from Bayview to Leslie and the Collectors. And with this emergency roadwork westbound on the 401, it's starting to get jammed up through Yonge and the Express. Problems westbound 401 approaching the 400 and the Collectors have cleared. Still busy though from Kiel, Express and Collectors to Dixon. Also keep in mind the westbound Dixon ramp to the westbound 401, that's closed because of a stalled vehicle. Northbound 427, the stalled vehicle approaching the 407 has cleared, but traffic is still jammed from approaching Rexdale. This year, 407 ETR is adding 30 kilometers of new lanes to keep up with increasing traffic and keep your commutes fast, safe, and reliable. Visit 407etr.com. Now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Light scattered snow for parts of the GTA, -4 at Pearson, and yeah, those winds, they are relentless, gusting 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, blowing snow, drifting snow, actual snow falling. It's hard to distinguish between what's falling from the sky and what's just blowing and drifting around of what's already fallen from the system snow, but we also have snow squalls now pushing into portions of the GTA, and that will be a big factor tomorrow, so we're keeping a close eye on everything for you. Just heed to all the weather advisories that are in effect, and just take it very easy on the roads. Your overnight low tonight, -7.
This is 680 News.
As cases of coronavirus continue to spread around the globe, the province is updating the situation here at home following the first case of human-to-human transmission in Toronto.
It's wrong. Wait.
680's Phil Martino joins us live with the latest. Phil.
James, Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, says there are now 13 cases of coronavirus in Canada.
That's 7 in BC, and now this one adds 6 here in Ontario for that total there. And we had last week, or just yesterday, we have 699 people tested, and of those 672 are negative. 21 are pending.
Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Eileen Davila, says people should continue to keep themselves informed by relying on credible sources of information.
At Toronto Public Health, we are regularly updating our website. That's toronto.ca/coronavirus. As new information comes in, we are updating that website.
Davila and Williams say that the risk to Ontarians remains low. Phil Martino, 680 News.
Happening now on Bay Street, the TSX remains halted due to a technical issue as markets south of the border continue another dramatic drop. 680's Carl Garnish joins us live with the latest. Carl.
Yes, we are taking a look at what has happened with the TSX so far, and unfortunately we saw a trading halt actually become kind of the final word here on the situation. TMX Group tweeting that it was investigating an order issue with some of the entries. Investors weren't able to modify certain orders, they weren't able to manage anything, and that was affecting the TSX Venture, as well as the Alpha Index. So investors, of course, were getting ready to trade, and we actually saw the TSX drop around 600 points before the trading halt, but it did drop by about 1.9% below the 17,000 mark, still weighed down by coronavirus fears. As Wall Street coronavirus fears continue to take hold, we have all 3 U.S. benchmarks entering correction territory today, and we have seen them drop by more than 2.5% as investors try to get a hold on what is happening with this situation. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnash.
This is 680 News. We're learning more about what happened last month when a false alarm was sounded about a nuclear emergency at the Pickering Power Plant. Here's 680's Momin Qureshi.
It was 7:23 on that Sunday morning in January when our phones began to blare with an emergency message about the Pickering nuclear plant that led to instant panic. Solicitor General Sylvia Jones says that message was sent out of human error, and now they've changed things to try to prevent it from happening again.
We've already put in place that you have 2 different IDs when you are operating on the live system as compared to operating on the test system.
But many are wondering why it took another 108 minutes for the message saying it was a mistake and everything is fine to be sent out.
Too many people were involved and not enough of them understood what the next steps would be.
Jones says they've already implemented changes so anyone working those systems knows what to do if this ever happens again. At Queen's Park, I'm Owen Qureshi.
This is 680 News. Toronto police are working to find the source of a tainted supply of fentanyl that led to more than a dozen overdoses at the safe injection site yesterday near Yonge Dundas Square. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live with the latest on the investigation that now includes one arrest. Mark.
That's right, Slajana. Toronto police describing a drug that was so tainted it was causing back-to-back overdoses.
This dangerous and potentially lethal batch of fentanyl.
It was being sold near the City of Toronto's safe injection site called The Works, right beside Yonge Dundas Square. Public Health reporting 16 patients overdosing between 4 and 11 p.m. yesterday. 14 of those people had to be rushed to hospital. From the Organized Crime Enforcement Unit, Superintendent Steve Watts says this particular batch of fentanyl might be the same stuff as, or at least very similar to, a deadly cocktail seized earlier this year by Halton Regional Police.
Testing as a combination of fentanyl, caffeine, and a benzodiazepine derivative.
A 38-year-old man was arrested yesterday within a couple hours of this outbreak crisis beginning, but the Superintendent Watts cannot guarantee there is not more of this drug on the streets. Live at City Hall, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Weather Alert.
And a winter weather travel advisory has just been issued for the city of Toronto. The tail end of the snow squalls off Lake Huron are affecting Toronto and will into the evening, giving brief periods of reduced visibility and snow and blowing snow, as well as poor driving conditions. And there's a greater threat for locally heavy snow squalls tomorrow. Here's 680's Stu McGinn.
It's been a day of slower travel, even though the snow's done. We've been hearing about tough driving conditions right across the GTA, including from this driver in Caledon.
There are 3-foot drifts in the middle of the road, and there are cars in the ditches all over the place. It's really, really, really bad.
Perhaps the worst of the conditions for drivers are yet to come, though. Our meteorologist Jill Taylor saying blowing snow and snow squalls will continue all the way into tomorrow morning's drive-in.
These squalls could extend into Toronto and the GTA, giving a quick burst of 2 or 3 centimeters of snow, especially for the late afternoon into the early evening as well.
For storm cleanup, the city's winter operations saying they'll be working overnight to clear sidewalks, and they'll be cleaning up local roads well into tomorrow. I'm Stuart McGinn.
You'll always be the first to know.
Breaking news when it happens.
680 News.
I have a bid for $10, $10, $20, $20.
So, can I go home now? Sleep Country knows you can't do your job when you're tired. That's why our sleep experts do their job and mix the right products to match you to your best sleep. Now, during the Mix and Match sale, get incredible prices on a mix of mattresses, box springs, pillows, and more. Plus, hurry in for a Hot Buy Sealy Queen mattress, just $469. This price ends soon. Sleep Country, all for sleep.
On city streets, northbound McCowan slow from approaching Ellesmere to Progress because of a crash in Vaughan. Traffic lights flashing red on Major Mackenzie east of Jane at Melville. That's causing delays eastbound and westbound approaching the intersection.
City Streets was brought to you by CapitalDirect.ca. Low rates save money for homeowners.
Now, the 680 News gas price update. Pro predicting the price will drop 3 cents at midnight to just under $1.08 a liter. Coming up on 680 News, an update on problems. South 400 approaching Highway 9. All lanes are blocked. Traffic and weather together next.
680 News time, 3:40.
Welcome to the afterlife, old red sedan. It's a good thing your owner needed to get rid of you fast.
Well, is this where I become a kidney car?
It is. You'll start supporting life-changing medical research and backing community education immediately.
Oh, and I thought I'd sit in that driveway forever. Need to get rid of an old car? Don't scrap it. Your car has a higher calling. Get a fast, free, and friendly tow for a minimum $300 tax receipt. Donate at kidneycar.ca. Central.
the latest tech development by Concord. Located in Toronto's Tech Hub, featuring high-tech amenities, such as the first condo in Toronto to install electric vehicle charging outlets in every parking stall, a high-tech co-working space amenity, Wi-Fi coverage in all amenities, elevators, and parkade. Central is the center of future living. Visit our presentation center at 88 Queens Wharf Road for details.
680 News Time, 341.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis. This report is brought to you by Thomson Reuters. It is a terrible, tricky drive right now on the roads anywhere north of the city. You are going to be into reduced visibility, near zero visibility in many areas with these gusty winds. That snow is just blowing all over the place, and it's even pushing cars off the roadway. We had a call from a traffic spotter not too long ago along Trafalgar Highway 25 north of the 401. Extremely strong gusty winds there. And we also have slippery conditions reported in a number of areas, especially along the 400 near Highway 9. And with that said, southbound on the 400 approaching Highway 9, all lanes are blocked because of a jackknife tractor trailer. Motorists are using the shoulder to get around it. So southbound 400, it's jammed up from Canal Road to approaching Highway 9. Northbound on the 400 approaching Highway 9, the left lane is closed for repairs to the barrier. And the northbound 400 very heavy from Aurora Road to north of Highway 9. An update on this construction that was set up on the 401 west of Yonge and the Express. It's in both directions, but it looks like they've mostly moved over to the left shoulder, but be very careful. That left lane partially blocked on the 401 in both directions west of Yonge in the Express. Now, if you're traveling north of the city on Stouffville Road from the 404 to Highway 48, the traffic lights are out through that stretch. That's also another concern this afternoon because of the strong winds. It's blowing out the traffic lights. We also had problems reported eastbound on Highway 7 at Warden. The right lane blocked by emergency crews. The traffic light is down on the ground there. So eastbound Highway 7 is jammed up from east of Woodbine over to Warden. Also, the traffic lights flashing red at Major Mackenzie and Melville, which is east of Jane. So very heavy delays east and westbound on Major Mackenzie in that Jane area. If you're traveling westbound on the Gardner, not spotting any problems, but it's a slow drive from the DVP to west of Strawn. Delays are building on the northbound DVP from Don Mills to north of Lawrence. Prepare your taxes for free with UFile tax software and pay only when you're ready to file. Visit ufile.ca today. And now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
A light snow, but the blowing and drifting snow will continue to intensify. The winds not letting up anytime soon, and we have snow squall activity as well. Quite a bit of it happening through the snow belt, but enough energy is pushing some of these squalls. Although isolated, they are shaping up here in the GTA as well. So we're going to be dealing with this through the rest of this afternoon and evening, overnight, through the day tomorrow, and the first bit of Saturday looks to be rather wintry as well. Right now, winds are gusting up to 60-70 kilometers an hour here in the GTA. Pearson, it's -4, feeling like -13. Your overnight low tonight, -7.
Now, the dynamic funds. Marcia Bennett to the Business Senator's Carl Garnish.
Jana, the TSX's trading day was cut short here by a trading halt. The TMX Group saying it's going to stop trading for today, and that will include the TSX Venture and the Alpha Index. They're looking into a problem here, and apparently, some analysts are noting this is not the first time in recent memory we've seen something like this happen. We'll have more in business at 56. So the last price we have for the TSX is a drop of 1.9% or 324 points, 16,717 on track to finish lower for a fifth day in a row. Stateside, the sell button being hit for Wall Street as investors remain concerned about the coronavirus. All three U.S. benchmarks down by at least 2.9%. Dow and S&P looking at a possible 6-day slide. Dow losing 926 points. S&P lower by 91. NASDAQ dropping by 322. Gold lost 60 cents, finishing at 1,642. A 5-day slide for oil remaining at its lowest level in more than a year, dropping 3.4%, closing at $47.09 a barrel. Canadian dollar down 22/100ths of a cent to 74.78 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Research shows that households with a financial advisor save at nearly twice the rate versus those who don't. To learn more, visit dynamic.ca/advice.
I found the one. Now I'm gonna find the ring.
Find it at Spence. They custom make every ring.
Everyone says that.
But not like Spence. Choose Earthmind or artisan-created diamonds. Their cases are open, so you can choose from thousands of ring styles or design your own. So the only one to wear her ring is her.
Well,
England Spence has the financing to fit your budget. Now, what were you going to say?
I'm going to Spence.
Inspired by love, imagined by you, created by Spence.
In Scarborough, Vaughan, and Mississauga.
TELUS Mobile Health Clinics give people living on the streets the medical care they need with the dignity they deserve.
Come on, let's get you checked out.
And TELUS Mobility for Good helps youth leaving foster care connect to the resources and support they need with a free phone and plan. Hello? Across Canada, TELUS is helping those who need it most, because we're all connected for good. Learn more at TELUS.com/allconnectedforgood.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Some light snow in downtown Toronto, a wind chill rating of -13. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Sljana Tominzik.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
Traffic alert southbound 400 approaching Highway 9. All lanes are blocked with a jackknife tractor trailer. Full traffic report coming up at 3:51. A winter weather travel advisory now in effect for the city of Toronto. Snow squalls and blowing snow expected to create periods of low visibility on the roads tonight. There's also a possibility for locally heavy snow squalls tomorrow.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Alex Xero.
Sljana, the Maple Leafs are in a fight to make the playoffs, and they're in Florida tonight to face the team that is chasing them for third in the Atlantic Division. Toronto is sitting 2 points clear of the Panthers. Looks like Martin Marincin will come in for the injured Jake Muzzin, while Frederik Andersen and Sergei Bobrovsky will be the goaltenders. Sportsnet 590 The Fan will have the call at 7 o'clock. In Dunedin today, Blue Jays and Twins play to a 3-3 tie. Kevin Smith in the bottom of the ninth had a 2-out, 2-run opposite field single. Hyunjin Ryu went 2 innings in his spring debut, gave up a run on 3 hits. Raptors getting ready to host the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow. Could signal the return of Norman Powell, who returned to practice today. He has not played all month with a broken finger. And according to ESPN, Tom Brady is open to joining a new team. NFL free agency gets going on March the 16th. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
Hello, it's the announcement system for Go Transit. Here to announce kids 12 and under can ride the Go for free. That's right, free. So I made this commercial for free. It's easy. I just say whatever people type. DJFLLLL. Sorry, a cat walked on my keyboard. Anyways, think of all the adventures kids can go on. I'm so jealous. Why did they program me to feel human emotions? Discover more at gotransit.com/kidsgofree.
Hi, I'm Eric. Did you know that sudden cardiac arrest can strike anyone at any age? Even kids as young as me. That's why the Monkey Network provides monkey defibrillators to families whose children have life-threatening heart conditions, whether at home, at school, or play. It gives moms and dads peace of mind, knowing that a monkey is always close at hand. You can help save a life. Learn more at monkeynetwork.com.
This is 680 News. The number of coronavirus cases outside of China today continues to grow. Italy reporting 127 new cases and 3 new deaths. France has reported 20 new cases, and pilgrims are now being kept out of Islam's holiest shrines in Saudi Arabia. The Director General of the World Health Organization says this is a decisive time in terms of dealing with the virus.
No country should assume it won't get cases. That could be a fatal mistake, and quite literally. This virus does not respect borders.
In the past 2 days, the number of new cases reported in the rest of the world has exceeded the number of new cases reported in China. Traffic and weather together next. 680 News Time, 3:50.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can have dire consequences. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or even a hearse. These unplanned choices for transportation are costly and do not take you home. I'm Chuck Cox with the Highway Safety Division of the Ontario Provincial Police, asking you to choose your ride and always have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivallive.org to find out more. And thanks for driving sober.
Catholic teachers are fighting to preserve one of the best education systems in the world. We want to give every student a chance to succeed. The Ford government is overcrowding classrooms and destroying opportunities for students. We need to stop them before it gets worse. Critical thinking is one of the most important skills we teach. How to separate fact from spin. Don't fall for this government's misinformation. No more. Visit knowmore.ca to help us reverse the cuts. A message from the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association.
Why couldn't you fucking send that to me in English?
51 traffic and weather together on the
What's secret about that?
This report is brought to you by Lexus of Oakville. It is a doozy of a drive, to say the least. These gusty winds presenting a number of issues. In many cases, drivers are having a hard time just staying on the roadway and not being pushed off with the force of these winds. Southbound on the 400, approaching Highway 9. Last we heard from traffic spotters, still had all lanes blocked because of a jackknife tractor trailer. Motorists were just using the shoulder to get around it. So southbound 400, a heavy delay from Canal Road to Highway 9. Northbound on the 400, finally that maintenance work approaching Highway 9 has wrapped up, but it's still heavy northbound 400 from approaching Aurora Road to north of Highway 9. If you're thinking about Jane as an alternate, well, unfortunately, Jane has been closed in both directions north of Aurora Road. I'm not sure why. Police just have it blocked off. It could very well be because of the weather conditions. And also with these gusty winds, a number of traffic lights are out along Stouffville Road from the 404 all the way to Highway 848. So use extra caution along that route. Traffic lights also flashing red at the intersection of Major Mackenzie and Melville, which is east of Jane. So very heavy delays both east and westbound. If you're traveling the 401 eastbound, just got a call from a traffic spotter about a stalled transport truck eastbound 401 on the ramp to the 410. That's blocking the right lane, so watch out for that. Across the city, eastbound 401 is slow from Dixon to the 400 Express and Collectors, then from the Allen to approaching Yonge and the Express, where the left lane is partially blocked for emergency construction. After that, delays eastbound 401 from east of Yonge to Leslie and the Collectors, from Warden to Kennedy and the Collectors, a bit busy through Salem. Westbound 401, that's heavy from Kiel, alternately Express and Collectors to Dixon. Good news, the westbound Dixon ramp to the westbound 401, that has reopened. If you're heading into Mississauga, it's jammed on the westbound 401 from just past the 410 and the Collectors to west of Mavis. Lisa 2020 NX300 signature package at 0.9% for 36 months with delivery credits up to $1,500. See lexusofoakville.ca. Now with the forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Yeah, it is brutal out there. Weather advisories in effect now for the city of Toronto. I mean, we have a slew of advisories, watches, various warnings across southern Ontario. The system has moved out of the GTA, but the winds are really revving up that lake effect off of Huron and Georgian Bay. And we're seeing some of that squall activity here this evening and through the day tomorrow on and off as well. Whiteout conditions, that's what we have to deal with when squalls make their way into the region, so they can be very treacherous to drive through. And we've already been dealing with the blowing and drifting snow all afternoon, as you've been hearing in Carrie's traffic reports. The winds are still very strong, over 60, 70 kilometers an hour, so that's not letting up anytime soon. And the light snow is falling now across parts of the GTA, specifically now at Pearson. We're sitting at -4 with that light snow. Your overnight low tonight, -7.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Scotiabank. Investments feeling stuck? They don't need to be. There is 1 week left to the RRSP deadline. Book an appointment with a Scotiabank advisor today and energize your investing.
Coming up at 4, provincial health officials updating the coronavirus situation here at home as the number of new cases reported in the rest of the world now exceeds the number of new cases reported in China.
This is 680 News.
The best appliance deal ever is still on at Goldman's. You'll save up to $500 on all Eco appliances. Yeah, that's $500 on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers are lower than, well, they've ever been. Energy savings rebate by the Government of Canada. Check out Bosch at Goldmans.com.
At 680 News, we know weather.
And we guarantee it.
If we're off by more than 3 degrees, we'll announce a lucky winner of our growing cash jackpot.
Now, get more chances to win each month and vacation better with Sunwing.
Enter in February for your chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for two at the Rio Playa Blanca in Panama.
Enjoy luxurious beachside lounging and breathtaking panoramic views.
Enter the 680 News weather guarantee with Sunwing
And Rio Hotels and Resorts
at 680news.com.
Business is next. 680 News Time, 3:55.
You're all bundled up.
Yeah, well, it is minus 17,700.
No way,
Yeah,
that's
something
right.
like that.
Says right here, get 25% off MSRP for up to $17,700 in total discounts on select brand 1500 classic models. Plus, we make no payments for 90 days.
Oh, I see. Minus 17,700.
There you go.
I'll grab my coat.
I can't believe that worked.
It's the Ram 4x4 winter event. See dealer for details.
Hi, I'm Brian Scudamore from 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Are these the young people I've heard about?
Yes, sir. These are them.
All I have to do is point?
Yes, sir. All you have to do is point.
But what if I pointed at that? Oh my! I could go to like this.
We like it too, sir.
You were here in less than 90 minutes.
And we work until midnight, 7 days a week.
When you want junk to disappear,
All you have to do is point.
1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
680 News traffic alert.
This is Kyle Hawking in the 680 Traffic Center. All lanes to the southbound 400 have now been closed from 5th line down to Highway 9 for a collision cleanup. The 680 Traffic Watch continues.
680 News Time, 3:56. Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Carl Garnish.
So, Jenna, it is a busy day at the Business Center. Bay Street's trading day was actually cut short due to a technical issue. We heard from TMX Group. It tweeted today that trading had been halted for the TSX Venture, and Alpha Index after investors were not able to enter, modify, or cancel any orders. And then TMX later tweeted the halt was going to stay in place for the rest of the day as the company investigates the issue. And analysts note this is not the first time in recent history that we've seen something like this. Actually, back in April of 2018, TSX saw a shutdown of more than 2 hours, with TMX claiming the failure was due to a defective storage module. And at this time, TMX has not said that we can expect regular trading for the TSX tomorrow. TSX at the close that we have here down by 1.9% or 324 points, 16,717, moving lower for a 5th day in a row. This trading halt, though, may have saved it from even more selling. We have massive declines. The market meltdown certainly continuing for Wall Street. All 3 U.S. benchmarks into correction territory. They're down by at least 3.3%. We have the Dow and S&P lower, possibly for a 6th day in a row here on the coronavirus fears. Dow now lower by 1,117 points. Historic drops right now. If it holds to 25,835, S&P sliding by 105 points, 3,011. Nasdaq seeing a drop of more than 4.3%, 389 points, 8,590. We also got earnings in from Best Buy today. The retailer reporting 4th quarter profit and revenue that topped expectations, while raising its dividend by 10% to 55 cents a share. Stock lower by 3.4%. And we're watching oil. It was lower for a 5th day in a row, remaining at its lowest level in more than a year, dropping 3.4%, closing at $47.09 a barrel. That is expected to help us here in the GTA, and pro expecting the price of the pumps to fall another 3 cents into Friday. And it's now time for the Express Gold Refining XAU.ca gold price update. It lost 60 cents, finishing at 1,642. 3-day slide with the Canadian dollar down by 27/100ths of a cent, 74.73 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Introducing Volkswagen short but mighty sale. Get everything you want, plus up to $1,500 on top of current in-market offers. Get the 2019 Atlas or the 2020 Tiguan to finally impress your in-laws.
Oh, darling, it's lovely.
Plus up to $1,500 bonus cash. Finance from 0% for up to 72 months and get up to $1,500 bonus cash on select 2020 and 2019 models. Only until March 2nd. Visit your Volkswagen dealership for details.
Volkswagen. Some live to ski, others ski to live. Introducing Bluemont. Blue Mountain Chalet living on 60-foot executive lots. Steps from the mountain. A lifetime of memories awaits you and your family. Chalets from $890,000. For more information or directions to our sales office, visit Premont.com.
Checking the 680 News regional weather conditions in Brampton, blowing snow reported and -4 degrees. In Mississauga, blowing snow and -5. Downtown Toronto, we have a little more sun than cloud at the moment, but a wind chill reading of -13. It's 4 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are James Monroe and Slijana Tominzis.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, February 27th.
Here's what's making news right now.
Traffic alert southbound 400 closed from 5th line to Highway 9 due to collision cleanup. Full traffic and weather in seconds.
The husband of a COVID-19 patient in Toronto tests positive for the virus. This brings the total number of cases in Ontario to 6.
An overdose outbreak in downtown Toronto blamed on tainted fentanyl.
Truly is a form of Russian roulette.
The staff at one of the city's safe injection sites may have saved a dozen lives.
Maple Leafs conclude their Sunshine State road trip tonight with a 7 o'clock start against the Panthers, and the Raptors could get Norm Powell back tomorrow. Sports at 15.
There's the closing bell. History in the making here. The biggest point drop in history for the Dow, falling more than 1,195 points here on coronavirus fears. Well, the TSX's trading day was cut short due to a technical issue. All details coming up in business at 26.
680 News Time, 4:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, Kyle.
This report brought to you by Mark Feldstein and Associates. The big problems right now are north of the city. So first of all, any route north of about the 407, you're going to be dealing with blowing snow, reduced visibility, very slippery conditions. It's not as bad in the city of Toronto itself, but north of the city, boy, we've got some tough driving conditions, evidenced by this collision on the 400. Southbound 400 now closed from 5th line down to Highway 9, a jackknife tractor trailer here being cleaned up along with a couple of vehicles involved. So traffic is now being diverted off the highway at 5th line. It's jamming up approaching that diversion from just south of Highway 88 down to 5th line. Traffic that had already gone past that closure when it was put in place is also being led through the scene of this jackknife tractor trailer. But if you're just approaching 5th line, you're going to be directed off the highway. So heavy there. Northbound 400, all of our problems have cleared, but it is still slow from Aurora Road to north of Highway 9 with a visual distraction of that southbound issue. We had some emergency road work going on the 401, still do in fact, eastbound and westbound on the 401 in the area west of Yonge in the Express. A piece of the left lane blocked each way because of work they're doing on the center divider. Volume delays across the city from eastbound from Dixon to the 400, and then from the Allen Express and approaching Bayview Collectors to Leslie. Busy again, Warden to Kennedy Collectors and through Salem. West 401 is busy Keele to Dixon, alternately Express and Collectors, but west of the 410 Collectors to west of Mavis. 407 to Trafalgar. North Don Valley slow out of downtown, approaching Don Mills to north of Lawrence. The issue south, DVP south of Don Mills has cleared. And if you're heading west on the Gardner leaving downtown, that's busy from the DVP to west of Strawn. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Call from your mobile now at Pound Tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. Your next report at 4:11, and with a check of the forecast, here's Denise Andriacci.
Well, some wintry weather continues the rest of this afternoon into the evening and overnight. Weather advisories now issued for the city of Toronto, but, various parts of the GTA have been under some sort of watch or advisory throughout the day today. Winds very strong out of the west, and that's revving up the lake effect snow. It's also been blowing and drifting all of that snow that has fallen from the system through the overnight. It's blowing it all around, so we've just had terrible driving conditions all day, and I wish I could tell you it's going to let up, but really does not look that way at this point. Overnight, still dealing with the flurries, the snow, and tomorrow we could accumulate another 5 to 10 centimeters just from the squall activity that we're expecting. Right now it is -4 at Pearson, and your overnight low is -7.
680 News Time, 4:04.
With breaking news from the major markets, it was a historic day on Wall Street for all the wrong reasons, and it was not business as usual on Bay Street.
680's Carl Garnish joins us live now from the Business Center with the reason why. Carl.
So, Janet James, we got to start with what we just got from Wall Street here. We had the worst point drop in history for both the Dow and S&P. The Dow losing 1,192 points, closing at 25,765. It has lost more than 3,000 points this week so far. Will it fall even more based on this virus? As for the S&P, it's lower by 137 points, 2,978. Both of them suffering a drop of more than 4 4.4%, while the NASDAQ fell by 4.6%, or 414 points, 8,566. All for U.S. benchmarks in correction territory. And as you said about the TSX, yes, what a day. On top of them hitting the sell button for Bay Street due to coronavirus fears, we had a technical issue according to TMX Group that affected the TSX, TSX Venture, and Alpha Index. So as a result, we had the TSX close lower by about 1.9% due to this. We have no word yet if the TSX is going to resume regular trading tomorrow and what will happen for both Bay and Wall Street. Reporting live at the Business Center, Carl Garnish, 680 News.
680 News, traffic alert.
This is Kyle Hawking in the 680 Traffic Center. All lanes of the southbound 400 closed from 5th line to Highway 9. Jackknife tractor trailer, and they're cleaning up. The 680 Traffic Watch continues.
This is 680 News. We got an update from Ontario health officials today on the latest case of coronavirus in the province. The patient is the husband of a woman who recently traveled from Iran. 680's Phil Martino joins us live. Phil.
James, Toronto's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Eileen de Villa, says the latest case of COVID-19 is currently at home in self-isolation. The only symptoms he had were a mild cough and a self-reported fever.
As you know, this person is the household contact of our most recently confirmed case of COVID-19. The individual currently has no symptoms and is doing well at home.
The latest coronavirus case in Toronto brings the total in Ontario to 6. Now, despite the 6 confirmed cases, Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, says the risk to Ontarians remains low.
The containment aspect is still being handled assertively throughout the province. With our increased wider travel one, we're going to get some more samples. So our number daily being submitted is increasing, which is what we want. And we continue to and move those through fairly quickly, expeditiously at our lab.
Health officials say people should continue to keep themselves informed by relying on credible sources of information. There are now 13 cases of coronavirus in Canada. Phil Martino, 680 News.
It is a very dangerous day on the roads with plenty of crashes being reported and a winter travel advisory now in effect for Toronto. Whiteout conditions can be expected, and this will continue through tomorrow. Here's 680 Stuart McGinn.
Now that we're done with the snow, our meteorologist Jill Taylor says there's still a chance for the drive to get quite nasty with blowing snow and even snow squalls.
Looks good 1 minute, and then the next you're dealing with quick burst of snow that reduces visibility.
And we've been hearing of some tricky conditions from traffic callers all day.
Snow all over the road. It's blowing snow. There's cars stuck.
As the cleanup continues, a reminder from York Police to be patient with city crews doing their work after a 911 caller got frustrated with some slow-moving clouds on the highway this morning.
It is becoming a mess. You might want to turn it off around here.
Sir, I can't make the snow plows go faster.
And we know those plows will be working into tomorrow as they clean everything up. I'm Stuart McGinn.
This is 680 News. A sample is being tested to figure out exactly what tainted substance set more than a dozen people into a state of overdose at Toronto's safe injection site downtown. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live. Mark.
That's right, James. Toronto police say this was tainted fentanyl causing one overdose after another last night.
Purchasing, ingesting street drugs truly is a form of Russian roulette.
And that's Superintendent Steve Watts from the Organized Crime Enforcement Unit. He says the drug was being sold yesterday in close proximity to a City of Toronto safe injection site called The Works. That's right beside Yonge Dundas Square. And this fentanyl was so tainted, naloxone wasn't even working. 14 of the 16 victims were sent to hospital. All of them survived. But Watts says if a 38-year-old man suspected of selling this tainted drug had not been arrested within the first couple of hours,
there is, I would say, a very good chance that many more people would have succumbed to these overdoses last night.
Watts says there could still be more of this tainted fentanyl on the streets of Toronto. Live from City Hall, I'm Mark Douglas.
Being right matters.
So if our weather forecast is off by more than 3 degrees,
You could win cash.
details at 680news.com.
American Rock!
Together again. Live in concert. Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings.